Hey guys, and thanks for joining me for yet another video. In this presentation, we're going to be making our turn it inside out shepherd's pie. Basically, it's my spin on shepherd's pie in the alternate version of what we're used to. So let's get into this video. So I have 4 cups of water that is on a rolling boil, and to that I am going to be adding 4 large potatoes that were chopped, and then I'm going to just be putting that directly into this hot water, and we're going to set a timer for 20 minutes, and then we're going to come back and check this. It should be so after potatoes are done being boiled, we're going to take them over to the strainer where we're gonna just drain off the water, and then we're gonna place that right back into our bowl. Our potatoes are going right back in, and we're gonna be adding some margarine and putting it in here, and we're gonna be our masher. These potatoes are still hot, so this butter shouldn't be hard to get melted. So we're just gonna melt the butter in the potatoes, and then after getting the butter melted, I go in with 2 tablespoons of evaporated milk and 1 teaspoon of garlic chive. So we're gonna just be incorporating that. I also am gonna put a hint of garlic salt into this mix. So it's gonna be about a half a teaspoon. And we're gonna just be mixing this into our potatoes. Might as well use your masher just to incorporate everything. Hey y'all, so here I have 1 pound of lean grounded chicken in this bowl here. I'm going to be seasoning it. I'm going to be needing a bit of parsley flakes, half a teaspoon of onion powder, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of chive, half a teaspoon of garlic salt, half a teaspoon of onion salt, half a teaspoon of smoked paprika, chicken based concentrate. I'm gonna go in with 1 tablespoon of that. We're also gonna be incorporating 1 egg into this, about 2 tablespoons of evaporated milk, 1 small diced onion. So I've added all of my dry ingredients to it, so now I'm going to be adding, I have my 1 egg that I whisked. I'm going to be adding that to it, as well as I'm going to be adding my 2 tablespoons of evaporated milk. And then we're going to be incorporating these ingredients together just so that the meat gets seasoned and everything is mixed. I'll show you what that looks like. So once it's incorporating, you're going to get a consistency like this. It's going to be like a paste. So we're going to start by adding 1 cup of breadcrumbs to this, and then we're going to incorporate that into our meat, and we're going to adjust as needed if we need more breadcrumbs. So I'm going to incorporate this, and we're going to after mixing in the first cup, it still looks like I'm going to need a whole another cup. So I'm going to be adding yet another cup of breadcrumbs to this, and we're going to be incorporating this again into our mixture, and we'll take a look and see what that looks like. So after mixing in 2 cups of the breadcrumbs, it still looks like I need another one, so we're going to go in with our 3rd cup of breadcrumbs. So I'm going to incorporate this and show you what that looks like. Okay, so after 3 cups, we got a nice thick consistency of our mixture. So after mixing in the chicken into its seasoning and adding the appropriate amount of breadcrumbs, as you can see, I got a nice firm consistency now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be cutting this mixture in half, and we're going to be placing half of it onto a saucer, and we're going to be working with this half at this point. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put this into a ball, and I'm going to be rolling this. So yeah, so now I'm going to just be rolling this out on my rolling pin to a flat consistency if possible. You may need to put a little bit of flour, as I'm seeing here, for this to go well. So you just sprinkle a touch of flour, maybe a teaspoon of flour on the outside, so this will roll out nicely. I'm going to show you what that looks like. I'm going to get some flour to sprinkle on here, and then we're going to roll this flat. Sprinkled a tablespoon of flour onto my meat mixture, and now it's going to allow me to roll this out into the texture that I want. I'm going for more so of a flat surface. See how flat I can roll my beef out, or my chicken, I should say, my minced chicken thing. I'm gonna see how flat I can roll it out in association with this board. So I'm gonna see how well I can get this rolled out. So I'm gonna roll it out and show you what it looks like. You've gotten your minced chicken rolled out. I'll show you the thickness I got. It's pretty thin. It's almost thinner than a patty. So I got it rolled out really thin. Then I got the shape that I'd like them to be. So I'm going with a more circular shape. So I'm going to be shaping these out into as many circles as I can, as well as with the covers to match. So off to the side, I have 1 cup of shredded cheese. I have 1 cup of cooked corn. I have my mashed potatoes that are seasoned from earlier. And of course I have the meat that I'm cutting. I also have a baking tray that's been greased with butter that I'm going to be transferring this patties over onto it. So here I have 8 of these chicken patty things rolled out, and I have 8 lids as well for it. So what we're going to do, our first step is we're going to use a 1/4 cup measurement, and we're going to go in for a 1/4 cup worth of potatoes. We're going to use a knife, and we're going to flatten off the surface of this because we need 1 flat tablespoon. So that's the amount that we're going with. And so we have all these potato scoops out. We used our a 1/4 cup measurement to scoop our potatoes out right onto our meat. And what we're going to do next is we're going to take the back of a, let's say, a tablespoon spoon, and we're going to just be puncturing holes into the well of the potato. So you just go in with the back of the spoon and you're going to puncture a hole into the potato. After puncturing nice little holes in the middle, you're going to go in with a teaspoon, and you're going to just be pouring a teaspoon amount of corn down inside of that little hollow space. So you're just going to repeat till all your wells are full. Then we're going to go in with our cheese. Yeah, so we're just going to literally be taking a pinch of cheese and putting it up top of that. Literally a pinch. Right on top of the corn is where it's going. So repeat that step for all your potatoes. So after that step, and we've put the cheese right on top of the corn like that, we're going to go in with our patties that we rolled out. And we're going to place it directly on top of this mold, flipping it upside down using the side that was on the board as your top. And you're just going to use your hand to mold this onto the first patty. So you're just going to keep molding it down onto there, just like so. And you're going to close it in with your hands on the side. So now that all of these are fully covered and closed off, we're just gonna be, I turned on my oven to 400 degrees and it's gonna preheat at that temperature. We're going in again with 1 more pinch of cheese. We're gonna just be sticking it right on the tippy top of this mixture of our patties here. This is actually called inside out shepherd's pie. So that's it. So after you put the pinch of cheese on top, you're just gonna hit it with 1 dash of parsley on the top layer. So we're gonna be sticking this in the oven for 40 minutes on the middle rack, and we'll be back to check it at that point. So these are ready to go. So to make a sauce that goes on top of it, we're gonna need about 4 different ingredients in here. I have 1 tablespoon of ketchup, 1 tablespoon of mustard, 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar, 1 tablespoon of green seasoning, and I'm gonna put on top 1 tablespoon of butter. I'm gonna be placing this in the microwave to melt for about 30 seconds. and then that should be good enough, and we're gonna give it a mix. So after 30 seconds, this is what I get. I'm just gonna give it a mix to incorporate all my ingredients. So my timer beeped for 40 minutes and this is all ready to go. These are all done. And yeah, so this is what it looks like. So we're gonna be taking one of these off. That's what it looks like. So it's called Inside Out Shepherd's Pie. So we're gonna just be placing that onto a dish right there. And we're gonna just drizzle it with some sauce so it's not bland. And so our meat isn't dry. So that's ready to go. So this is what it looks like, the shepherd's pie, the inside out shepherd's pie, whereas the meat is on the outside of the potatoes and everything else is in there, the cheese and so forth. And that's ready to go.